you?
I'm so great. I'm so excited to bake with you.
I'm so excited to learn from you. I feel like we've been texting each other. Well, we have a very hilarious text relationship. I was telling someone the other day because I was so excited for time on video with you today. I was like, I mean, there aren't many people in life, most certainly not in my life, that I can text at any hour and text things that are specifically my realities that aren't many other people's realities. Like you could be like, how many people work at your commissary? How big's your walk-in? How do you buy butter in 30-pound blocks, or do you buy them in 1-pound blocks with 30 cases? You know what I mean? Like there's the beauty in so much of the reasons that we lean on each other and stay in touch. And they go far beyond that, but there is a space that you most certainly hold in my life that I'm so grateful for that I don't really know that anybody else occupies. So I'm so honored to have you on Bake Club. Bake Club, for those of you that don't know, and I can't even imagine that that's a possibility, this Wonder Woman, incredible pastry chef extraordinaire. She was originally born in Texas, but she dominates the Boston like bakery cafe scene with 8 flour bakery and cafes, soon to be 9. She has an incredible restaurant called Myers Chang. She has 5 cookbooks, 5 Jane Beard Award winner. I mean, every single thing you can think of, this woman does not just do, she crushes. She's also an incredible runner, though she'll try and tell you that she also walks instead of running. But she's run her fair share of marathons on and off the clock. Joanne Chang, welcome to Bake Club.
I have been watching Bake Club since you started, and I am so honored to be here. I mean, what you've been doing the last, was it 101 days or something? Christina, you are unstoppable. After like the 10th day, I thought there's no way she can keep going. And every day at 2 o'clock, I'm like, there she is. It's unbelievable.
But Joanne, when did you start flour?
2000, 20 years ago.
I mean, girl, you have more than 101 days under your belt. So it's just the like doing it while someone's watching as opposed to doing it. I mean, we're always doing it in service of others. It just looks and feels a little different, I guess.
Totally, yeah.
You're a little bit like me, I know, where we're both sort of introverts, where we don't bake to be seen. We almost bake to escape and hide. And so there is something funny about the Bake Club part of that I get with you on the like, oh my gosh. But you want to know what? The other thing that we share is that we believe in showing up for people and doing what we can to make this world a better place. So.
And we believe in the connection that pastry brings and joy and pleasure, that we can present our baked goods. We don't have to be front and center, but our cakes can be. Or our fortune cookies.
That's what it's about. That's what the people came for anyways, right?
Totally. Absolutely.
Okay, so you're going to teach us something today, which I'm super excited about. What are you teaching us?
So I am going to teach you how to make fortune cookies. Have you ever made fortune cookies before?
I've never made fortune cookies, and yet the spirit, that moment, like I love picking apart magic, and that moment of looking forward to like, what's my fortune going to say? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it this? Is it that? That moment, I was a very picky eater as a kid, and so I would just like hold out on a hunger strike until fortune cookies hit the table. And so I'm so excited to learn how to make a fortune cookie from you, because you represent bringing so much sort of joy and wonder and whim to life.
I think it's going to have so much fun because you can fill out your own fortunes. You can take time and write whatever secret fortunes you want and put them in the cookies. And the recipe is so simple. I'm certain in your pastry career, you've made a tuile batter. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a very simple tuile batter. The recipe I shared with you is one that we use at the bakery, which uses melted butter. But we also have created like this little fortune cookie kit for people that has oil in it, and it comes with a little silpat. So if anybody is not wanting to make it from scratch at home, they can get like this little kit from flour, and then it's got all the ingredients in the silpat to make the fortune cookie.
Oh my gosh. And you can order that online, whether you live in the sort of like Boston, Massachusetts area or beyond, right?
Yeah, right. We're shipping online.
Oh my gosh. and you get your own Silpat, which is like a silicone baking piece of parchment paper that's reusable time and time again.
It's magic. And you really you kind of need a Silpat in order to do fortunes. Like I've tried it on parchment, but it's a little tricky.
Got it. Okay. And so Bake Club, a tweel, to just hit pause real quick, a tweel is like a fancy cookie of sorts that you might have known or seen from like the more beautiful plated desserts that you see out there in the world. It's typically the sort of like decorative element to a plated dessert that has a cookie base, but is usually just a bit more delicate. When we made lace cookies many bake clubs ago, that is a form of a tweel, though obviously a fortune cookie is not lacy. It has a different type of texture to it. But the cool part about tweels, if you're like a professional pastry chef, is it's this cookie, whether it's lacy or not, that is sort of pliable and malleable. And I love knowing that that's sort of like, that's the basic technique of what we're gonna do today, learning how to make fortune cookies from you.
Let's do it.
Okay, you call out the ingredients. I'm gonna run and grab my bowls and ingredients as you go, because I can't pull the ingredients out in advance. Butter, she's literally right here. She's like, you leave butter out? You not, Joanne? She's pulled it down from the table and is eating it. Butter on butter.
Okay, so let me show you how this goes. So we're gonna take some sugar and add some egg whites, and then just whisk together. Whisk, 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 whisk. And then I've got some melted butter here that's all already melted. So I'm just gonna add the melted butter. I mean, this is seriously the simplest recipe. It's sugar, egg whites, melted butter, and then this dry mixture, which is just a little bit of salt, a little bit of ginger, because this is a ginger tweel, and then some flour.
Got it. So it's basically taking 3 egg whites and that sort of 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, yep. Whisking that together, whisking in 5 tablespoons of melted butter, and then dry ingredients are 1/3 cup of AP flour. What would you say, like a pinch of salt?
Just a pinch, yeah.
Got it. And ground ginger, which I think is so brilliant.
Yeah, it gives it a little spicy flavor.
I love that. And so ginger brings it spicy. Could you use other extracts? Like if Bake Club wanted to take ginger and enhance it, could they use other spices or other extracts to give their fortune cookie tweel batter?
Yes. And I know the Bake Club bakers, they are all so creative and imaginative. So I'm excited to see what they come up with. But we've done vanilla, we've done almond. You could use cinnamon in the tweel batter. I mean, really almost any spice that you like, any extract. I haven't done mint. I feel like that might be a little interesting, but you could certainly try it.
For some reason, mint doesn't register with me with fortune. Yeah. Okay, I love that. So it's a very quick batter to come together, but there's a caveat to it, because I'm not even whisking mine together, because the reality is I made mine last night, because what Joanne says, I do.
So the batter needs to sit overnight. So I did the same. I have some from yesterday, because it needs to chill. You can kind of see right now it's like really runny.
Yeah.
Very runny. It needs to be a little bit thicker. So this is batter that's just got a little bit more body to it. Exactly.
Got it. Mine looks like the batter that I made last night is like a beautiful, thick,
almost like a pancake batter.
Yeah, it's like if a pancake batter had a little bit of like goo in it. Dare I say slime, even though slime doesn't sound appetizing. It's like pancake batter with a little bit of something to it. But you can sort of, if you hold it up to the light, it comes through with lets the light through, but there's this beautiful webbing to it.
Yeah.
And that's what we mix this quick batter together, choosing like ginger, or if we want to add any other edge to it. We refrigerate it overnight just to sort of hydrate the starch, the flour.
Exactly. Yeah. And to let the butter or the oil just kind of firm up a little bit. And
Got it.
now this is where the Silpat comes in handy. Now what we're going to do is with an offset spatula, you're going to spread about a rounded tablespoon. Where you're just going to spread the batter into a circle, maybe like 5 inches wide.
Look at you go.
Just like that. Now you can also
not her first fortune cookie. Do you portion out, like, if I were using a scoop, would I use like a tablespoon scoop? How much batter would you say makes that 5-inch round?
I would say about a rounded tablespoon, so maybe a tablespoon plus. You can also, if you want, you can also make like a template. Like if you have like the cover of a yogurt container, you know?
Totally.
Cut out the circle. It's got to be flat, so you got to cut off the rim and then cut inside so that you have like this piece of plastic, and then you would put the piece of plastic on your Silpat, and then you take your offset and kind of like go like that. But you can also reform it.
And does this batter spread a lot in the oven, or does it stay pretty close? Like, should I be leaving space in between each?
I would leave a little bit of space, but it doesn't spread that much. I mean, the circumference that you spread the batter, that's pretty much what it does.
Got it. And is this on the menu at Myers Chang?
It is. We have homemade fortune cookies at Myers Chang. We change up the fortune like every month or so. I actually reached out on Instagram to the Flour Love bakers, and I said, hey, what are some great fortunes that you have? And there were so many good ones. So many good ones nowadays about connection, about humankind, and being good to each other. It was really great to read everybody's fortunes.
Oh my God, I love that. Just like what they wish for the people that come to eat and to be a part of your universe. Yeah. Joanne, why did you decide to be a baker professionally?
Let's see. I was working as a consultant. I was a business person for a couple years after college. I was sitting in front of a computer writing, PowerPoint presentations, and I was traveling across the country giving like Excel sheet presentations, and I just wasn't into it. I went home every day and I cooked and I baked. So after a couple of years of consulting, I said, you know what, I'm going to see if I can get a job in a restaurant and just see what working in a restaurant is like. And I didn't think it was going to be a career, but I just needed to try something else. And I got my first restaurant job, and I just fell in love with being in a kitchen. I mean, you know what it's like. You walk in and you're going a mile a minute and everyone's running around and there's so much energy and it's crazy. And then the day ends and you're like, wow, I just made, 100 cakes or 1,000 salads or whatever. And there was this like energy to working in a restaurant that I didn't experience being a consultant. So I kind of just stuck with it, started out in restaurants and then moved to bakeries. And I actually even lived in New York City for a year, and I worked with Francois Paillard.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I helped him open the original Paillard Patisserie on the Upper East Side back in 1999, I think. We probably know, well, I wonder if you would know, do you know, let's see, who was back there? Johnny Uzzini, who's a New York pastry chef. He was my direct boss. And so he and I worked together with a crew of about 10 or 12 people to help open up Paillard.
Oh my gosh. All right, I have so many more questions, but something tells me these sweet little 5-inch rounds of batter go in the oven.
In the oven, preheated.
I preheated, and it's a 325 degree oven, right?
Exactly. Like a lowish oven. You don't want them to brown too much on the edges. You want it to just bake to a nice, even golden brown.
Got it. Okay, off we go.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So where did you originally start? Like, what was your first restaurant job? Was it in Texas? Was it in Oklahoma?
No, it was here in Boston. I got a job with Lydia Shire doing garde at a restaurant called Biba, which was, at the time, it was like this high-end restaurant. She had gotten a lot of acclaim for being really original and coming up with menus that were super creative. And I got a bar food job. That was like the lowest position. And then in 3 weeks, the garde cook left. And so I got promoted to garde. So I got hired without any experience to literally like fry chicken wings, you know, and put like chips and dip together for the bar. And then when the garde cook left, they promoted me. And that's how I kind of got my foray into restaurant cooking. But the pastry station was right next to the garde station. And so.
Did you always know you wanted to do pastry and this garde manger job was just your foot in the door?
No, I knew that I liked pastry. I liked eating pastries, but garde manger for me was just trying to figure out if I liked restaurants. And then once I was in a restaurant, I was like, you know what? I'd much rather learn how to make pastries professionally than how to I remember there was foie gras, which I wasn't really into. And there was all these sashimis that we were doing, which now I'm like, oh my gosh, that was the best experience ever. But at the time I was like, I don't want to touch all this raw fish. I don't want to touch this raw, you know, and next door was like strawberries and butter and flour.
Yes. Yes. It's funny how those things work themselves out, right? And then did you go to culinary school, or was this truly just your you were a consultant, you knew how to analyze things, and so you had this you were clear about what your cadence would be?
Well, I wasn't clear that it was going to be a career, but I did think about going to culinary school. But once I got that first job, I just thought, I'm learning so much with, you know, my chef, the sous chef. Then I got a bakery job after that. I left after a year and I got a bakery job, and I learned so much under my pastry chef, Rick Katz. And he just was teaching me everything. And so the idea of then stopping to go to culinary school didn't really make sense. You didn't go to culinary, right?
I went to culinary school, but it was an accelerated program. I didn't go for years to the CIA or anything like that. It was an accelerated program because I was I was a little bit more I'm a home baker first. I know I love dessert. I know I love to eat dessert. I also know I love to make dessert. But I felt a little bit two parts. One, I felt like I was behind. In that if I was going to learn, I had to learn really, really, really fast. And I wanted some sort of formal culinary education because I was I don't know anything except for how to open a box cake mix. I mean, I had never even made a cake from scratch until I went to culinary school. But I was also I know I'm an intense personality, so I need and want a program that's going to be condensed down. And so I'd go to culinary school by day and then work in restaurants by night, because I also knew that a culinary school education would be one thing, but real life experiences is something that's also quite necessary. If you're gonna go to culinary school, having that real world experience is key.
I tell that to everybody because they always ask me, should I go to culinary school? And I say it's such a personal decision. Some people need, you know, the classroom setting and labs and everything, and that's great. And some people you want to do it during the day and then work at restaurants at night, and some people just jump in and work in restaurants and bakeries. So it's really personal.
I think it was as much for my need to have the book knowledge and confidence, and I knew myself well enough to know that I'm not going to open a textbook by myself at night. That is not who I am. I am better if you put me in a classroom setting. I'll be competitive, but I won't be if I'm just sitting at home, and I can be either eating cookie dough or reading about Genoa. I'm gonna be eating cookies. You know what I mean? I was know yourself sort of thing. But I'm curious how your family felt about it, because I mean, you're a consultant for all intents and purposes. You had a good job. What was that like?
I remember calling them, and I remember calling them from the office, my fancy office at the consulting firm, and saying, Mom and Dad, I just got a job to work in a restaurant, and I'm going to quit and give 2 weeks notice here. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to be working as a bar food cook. And there was just
for $4 an hour.
It was no money. You know, I had gone from making a really decent salary with a big fat bonus to making minimum wage. I mean, literally minimum wage. And my parents, I think for a full minute, silence. They were thinking, joking or something. I think for them, they were obviously just concerned. And I told them, I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll fall back on either consulting or some other more traditional career path. But I knew I needed to try this thing. I loved cooking and baking at home, and I didn't want to go on to business school. And I was just feeling like I had this opportunity to try it for a year. I was 23, 24. So it didn't seem a big deal. I was just, I'm going to try this and see what comes of it. And they were, just concerned, but I think after that first year, they saw how happy I was and how much I loved going to work every day. And then I got a job in a bakery, and every day I was just like, this is so great. I love it. And so I think they eventually understood that this was not just a whim. It was something that I really loved to do. And now, of course, they love it. They come all the time, or they did pre-COVID, and they're like, they visit all the bakeries, and it's really.
Were they big? Was one of your parents was one of your parents like bigger into food? Were they like, was baking and cooking a part of your childhood?
Baking, absolutely not. I mean, we didn't have any sweets at all growing up. Every now and then, my mom would buy the Toll House chocolate chips, and we would make that. Or my dad's an ice cream fanatic, as am I, and so she would buy ice cream. But other than that, we didn't have any desserts. But we were all fanatical about food. I mean, we're Taiwanese. Like, all we do is think about food and talk about food. Like, Christopher has, he's now in the family, and he knows that at breakfast we're going to talk about, okay, what are we doing for lunch? What are we doing for dinner? And what's for breakfast tomorrow morning? And so food has always been a central point of our life. And I think for them, it's just that traditionally restaurant work wasn't meant for people who had educations, at least for them in Taiwan. It was kind of like a fallback career if you didn't know how to do anything else.
Got it.
And I think, they've seen now that food, especially now in America, it's like such an exciting industry to be in, and there's so many opportunities. And I think they absolutely see how different the career that I've chosen is from what they thought it was 20 years ago.
That's so interesting. I also love, I hope that they're like, oh, we knew food was a thing very long ago. And I love the spirit. I very much share with you the spirit of like, I wake up and I'm like, really everything about the day comes down to what I'm going to eat when and what I'm going to do in between to like, just fill the space in between my next amazing bite or meal or creative moment in the kitchen. That's a pretty special thing, I think, to be gifted in your childhood, to have a family that really knows and loves really good food.
Yeah, my mom was, both my parents worked, and my mom worked really long hours, and she would come home every night, after a long day of work, and we would like make dinner together. And that was a really big deal. Like, we didn't ever get takeout or go out to eat. I mean, gathering around a table with rice, tofu, stir fries, vegetables, pickles was just my every single day for literally 18 years until I went off to college and realized there's this whole other world of food that I didn't know anything about. Like eating a salad. I didn't have a salad until, I went to college.
Yeah.
I was so used to my Asian feast every night.
It's a pretty good feast though. My feast was like Kraft macaroni and cheese, which believe me, I still have boxes in the pantry over here, but it is funny how much the world of food opens up to you once you sort of go to blaze your own trail.
Yeah.
What's your comfort meal now, knowing that you had this like amazing, delectable Asian feast of stir fry and so on? Is that still your comfort meal, or do you do something different when you're looking for something to feel like home, to feel coddled by the warmth of your
net?
Myers
Chang takeout is definitely a big comfort meal for us now. And then we balance that with pizza. I've become a huge pizza fanatic too. So either of those, like sitting at home with Christopher and eating Myers Chang, or getting some pizza from Flour Bakery with a glass of either sake or red wine is, for me, that's everything. Yeah.
What's your pizza, or like, what is your ideal topping sauce setup?
I'm very
like, what's Joanne and Christopher? By the way, Christopher is Joanne's amazing husband.
And he's wandering around here. I am simple and I love just cheese. Yes, you did. Come say hi. Here he comes.
Yes. Hi, Christopher. How are you?
Christine, I'm sure you've heard of the New York Times.
Oh, I have heard of the New York Times.
So then you probably took note in a recent Dory Greenspan article of my COVID era baking
Yes.
achievements. So if you're working out a roster of future gifts for Bake Club, I have some time on my hands.
Should I call your agent?
You should call my agent. Yeah.
I got her on speed dial already.
Lovely seeing you.
Amazing. Okay, so you're a cheap pizza girl.
Let's see.
I know, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, I can smell these cookies.
Smell it, right? Okay, mine, here, I'll show you. Mine aren't quite ready, almost. Mine are kind of spotty.
Mine are like, they're, at least if I mean, I've never made these before, but if I'm gauging them by color, they're almost there.
They gotta be golden.
They gotta be golden. How much time, I mean, I guess it depends a little bit on circumference and thinness, but how much time would you say they spend in the oven? Or is it more about instinct? It's 5 to 8 minutes.
No, I think it's a little bit longer. It's probably more like 10 to 15.
Oh, okay.
But
let me get you eyes on what mine look like. Let's see. Let's get a Joanne opinion here. Hold on. Also, this lady.
Hi, Butter.
Butter?
Hi, Butter.
Portions? Butter? No. Okay. Life is so hard when you're butter. Okay, these are mine.
Let's see. Those look good.
Like this one's closest. This one's not. Maybe I should rotate them in the oven, huh?
Yeah, I would rotate.
Okay.
Okay. And then you know what, Tina? We need to write out the fortunes.
I know. It just occurred to me. I was yapping, asking all my Joanne questions, and realizing I got to get my act together. We're here to learn. Okay. What's your like go-to? How do you, aside from the crowdsource of your team, which I just love, how do you come up with these fortunes? What do you think are the most magical approach?
Christopher comes up with most of the fortunes, and so he'll come up with a list, and we give it to the bakers, and then they print them out, and then we fold them up. We got to put them on a skinny little piece of paper. Skinny.
No one's asking you in 5 years.
We're probably still.
Mine were too racy.
Yeah, the ones at the restaurant tend to be a little bit racy.
Oh, racy, like your evening will be full of strawberry chiffon cake.
Racy,
fantastic reruns.
And then I was telling you earlier, we crowdsourced, which was awesome to get so many people's fortunes. And I just did one of the favorite ones that we had was humankind be both. I thought it was so good.
I love that. Okay, so your fortune cookie round, 5-inch rounds that you spread beautifully on your Silpats, they're in a 325 oven for about 10 minutes until they are golden brown. And in the meantime, you basically, oh, there they are. Oh, yours are beautiful. It's all about the fortunes. Okay, tell me.
So mine came out a little bit dark, but that's okay. So now with your offset, you're going to take it off the Silpat, and then you've got like this magical period of about like 10 seconds where it is pliable enough for you to make a fortune. So you take it, turn it over, fold it in half, and then, ooh, it's hot. Let it cool just a little bit. There. You see how I did that?
Yes. So you fold it in half and then you give it a slight little twist.
Yeah, you fold it in half, and then actually I forgot to tell you, you need like something to put it in so that when it cools down, it doesn't open back up.
Oh, got it. So something sort of roundish.
Yeah, so we use like an egg carton. If you have an egg carton.
Oh, I have an egg carton.
Okay, so here, I'll do it here. Fold it in half, and then fold it in half.
Amazing. And so how do I fold this little fortune up, or do I just give it a like?
Exactly. Just fold it up tiny, 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 and have it ready to slip into your fortune.
Okay, here we go. I'm going for it. I have eggs in my egg carton too, but I think it's gonna be fine.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I have my fortune. Okay, and it's basically, I mean, for those of you that have ever worked in a restaurant, the thing that you learn how to do really quickly as a survival is you learn how to touch hot things and be okay with it.
So maybe have some gloves.
Yeah, whether you're, oh, there you go. Whether you're working garde manger or pastry or you're running plates, everything's hot and everything's warm and you got to move fast, which I feel like when you're like, oh, this is hot, I was like, yeah, 100%. That's like what your brain said. And it's fine. Okay.
Yeah, I think after all this,
golden brown.
I don't really have feeling on the tips of my thing.
Yeah. I'm like, I lost the feeling on the tips of my fingers at my first restaurant job for sure. Okay, got it.
So you're going to take it off the silpat, and it's going to be really, really floppy, and turn it upside down.
Got it.
And at
You
first,
love that, of course, of all the things I don't have a silpat. Probably because I've destroyed every silpat I've ever owned.
or are you doing it on?
Much. I'm just going straight on the baking sheet, but hold on. I'm going to pop
Got
it
it.
one more time. You really do have to move fast with these babies.
Well, the thing is, if you remove it from the baking sheet, and then if it's hardens up, you can put it back in the oven to soften up the tuile.
Oh, got it. Oh my gosh, this batter smells amazing. I took one off just as a snack for myself.
So that's definitely a pro tip, especially because the timing is so crucial. You can just take the tuiles off of the silpat or the baking sheet with your offset just to remove it, put it back into the oven so that it softens it up again. And then after like 10 or 15 seconds, it should be soft, and you can remove it back from the oven, and then you can shape it.
These are, the batter's incredible. I mean, I just had one. I had one that I broke. I made more. I made extras just so, because, you know, you got to know what you're making. But that's incredible. So what inspired you to want to make fortune cookies as the sort of like final send-off at Myers and Chang?
Well, you know, we're a Chinese restaurant, an Asian restaurant. People expect fortune cookies, and as a pastry chef, I was not going to buy what I could make. And so we don't offer them. We actually offer a little bit of chocolate mousse to everybody as kind of like a send-off, but we do these huge fortune cookies like this that we offer on the dessert menu. So you can get them just like this.
That's amazing. And have people like asked you to stuff fortunes in them, like marriage proposals and stuff?
We have done that. We've done marriage proposals. We've done wedding favors. We've done all sorts of things. Happy birthday gifts.
I could totally see that. I'd 100% say yes to anyone that asked me something from a Joanne
cookie.
Fortune cookie, for the record. Oh my God. Okay, this is incredible.
Are they coming off the sheet tray?
Yeah. Okay, so I am taking my cookie. I'm putting my fortune in it. I'm folding it in half.
Sort of like a taco. Yep.
Totally. And then again. And how do you keep the air in between?
Well, okay, so you fold it in half, but then at this point it's probably cooled off too much. But rather than taking the two corners and coming together like you did, you want to take the two corners and have them come down.
Oh, I see. Got it. And bring it down and around. Oh my God.
It's like you take your thumbs and you push up from the center.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So here's my taco.
Yep.
Oh, okay, I see. I'm gonna what you suggest, which is put this in the oven real quick. So the way to keep your fortune cookie pliable as you go to sort of write your fortunes and fold them is to be near the oven to go in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Woo! I love this. Well, that's good because I needed to write one more fortune. I have really messy handwriting and get really self-conscious about it. So I went to write a fortune and then I was like, oh no, no one would be able to read that fortune anyways.
Yeah, so you make a taco, and then the bottom of the taco is where your thumb, both of your thumbs like go in the bottom of the taco, and then push up to the top.
Oh, I see. It's from the outside in. I see. And the seam should be in the middle on the outside.
Exactly.
All right,
Just
I'm
like
coming in hot, Joanne.
Okay.
Also, this is the thing that I love most about pastry. I just brought my sweet little tuile. By the way, when I put it in the oven, it was in taco form. I put it in the oven for 30 seconds and it has flattened itself back down. It's just marvelous. Okay, so fortune in taco. And then thumb.
Exactly.
Oh, that. You want to know what? I would have never figured that out, Joanne. That's why you're. Oh my God. Okay, got it. And then it goes into, I love that these are also like oversized.
Yeah.
In this sort of like beautiful imagination. And then you can either put it in a bowl. I mean, look at mine. It's amazing.
Perfect. It's awesome.
It's giant. And then you let it cool off and it pretty quickly gets to like a hard crack state.
Yeah.
Which I love. What is your what does your fortune say? What does one of your fortunes say?
I used the one that I was just telling you that I really like from the crowdsourcing. Humankind be both. I thought that one was so apropos for today.
I love that. This is one of my favorite ones that I like to remind myself, and I think is like one of the most powerful things to keep in mind nowadays and always, which is you have everything you need. So I think we spend so much time stressed out and worried about this, that, and the other. And though we can always be better and do better, the concept of like, you have everything you need. Whether you were like a consultant in your 20s, you knew what you needed and you had all the answers, right? You knew that you weren't happy. You knew what it was you needed, and you knew how you were going to at least figure it out. You didn't know what all the answers were. That's not what it is, but it's knowing that you have everything you need in yourself to get through life, to get one out of life, even if you don't even know what you want. And you have everything you need. You have humanity, you have care, you have all those things. You might need to figure out how to dig them up, how to uncover them, how to push more of them into the world. But this, like, you have everything you need. For some reason, that's been the thing that's sticky to me. So I'm just going to make a bunch of fortune cookies.
I love it. I love it.
And like do a little ding dong drop. Now I'm trying to figure out what it is I do with my fortune cookies. Like how I think that's one of the most joyful things that you can sort of like put out there. They're a low lift commitment. Yeah. Whether you like dessert or you don't like dessert, everyone eats a fortune. You know what I mean? Like even if you crack it, yeah.
Totally.
Joanne,
love it.
Teaching us a lot more than how to make a killer ginger spice fortune cookie. Thank you for sharing so much of yourself through your incredible books, through all of the flower bakery and cafes in the Boston, Massachusetts area, for the incredible meals at Myers and Chang, and of course the fortune cookies. Bake Club, like, game on. It's on to you. Make sure you make your fortune cookie batter in advance. Make it the night before. It's a super easy thing to do in your PJs before you go to bed. That's what I did last night. Get out into the world, bring joy, spread joy. And if you don't feel like measuring anything out, Joanne's got you. You got to get after that fortune cookie kit. And by the way, whether you feel like you're going to master fortune cookies at home by measuring your own ingredients, she has a bunch of other killer baking kits that you can buy online and that they ship all over the US so that you can bake along with Joanne in as close a proximity as I am, and even closer. You can taste her desserts and your desserts become one. Joanne, thank you so much for teaching us, for joining us on Bake Club. We love you. We adore you. I'll call you in a minute because I can't wait to say hi.
Excellent.
And cash all of these things and give Christopher a big squeeze and thank him.
I will. Love you. Thank you so much.
Bye, Joanne.
Bye.